Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Daniel from Woodworking with Dash. Today we are going to make this dual purpose box. First box is a jewelry box. Look at that inside. Wow. And the second will be a document box. This whole tray can come out and it's big enough to fit all your A4 papers. So it's a dual purpose box. Now that's a striking box, isn't it, guys? With its centre insert, makes it pop. Makes it pop. Okay, this is a box similar to the one we're going to be making, so we can follow along with it. Okay guys, we're making a box that has got two uses today. One is for a jewelry box, and the other is for a document box. So it's big enough to hold A4 sheets of paper, but also with a big jewelry box insert in there. So this is a big box for people that got a lot of jewelry. And you see how it's a 5-piece lid, and it's got a very shallow angle on it. And we're going to do that on the saw later. But it's a very good looking lid. I like the lid. It's not going to be too tall. It's not going to be 60 mil high, I think 65 mil high. 60 mil high altogether. It's a very slimline sort of box. But just something different. In the centre is really going to make it pop. So for the body of the box we're going to be using this carry. There's a bit of decking that I got at the big box store, carry. And for the surrounds of the top we're going to be using myrtle. The inlay is going to be centre. As I said, centre I got from the big box store. I've never heard of it, but they seem to have a lot of. It looks like an Arcadia timber, but it possibly just comes out of Asia somewhere. And for the trays, we're going to be using your favourite jar. Let's get on with it. The first job we have to do is to rough cut the box to width and then plane it down to about 14 mil. Guys, I've planed the carry up, machined it up to 65 mil wide. It's going to be 390 by 270. So I've cut the two rails other side and the two ends other sides, and I've machined it about 65 by about 15 mil. It's not about an extra mil, just because it's a bigger box and I want more glue area on the join, and we're putting in a 6 mil bottom, but it is a big box. We don't want to flex. Okay, so I'll sand the inside face now. Once we cut the monitor, then we'll cut the bottom, and then we'll put the box together. guys, we've put the motors, and we've put the groove in for the bottom for the 6mm, just like normal. You must be used to it by now. We've done so many that way that it becomes second nature. Have a go. It's not that hard. With the masking tape method and box clamp, like we normally do, and after that it'll be story time. Yay! Oh, I've got them all taped up. Got to turn them over now. Very long this box, isn't it? Okay. Start gluing. Whoever invented this masking tape method, bloody should be awarded a medal. Bloody good. That's what the internet does. It gives you some really good procedures that you can follow. Like I'm trying to do here. But it gives you some really bad ones too, by the way. But it's all part of it, isn't it? It's all part of the fun. And this is fun. We're having fun. I'm having fun anyway. Yeah, okay, we'll do it that way. Yeah, no, we'll do it that way. Roll that one up. Roll that one up. Okay. One box clamp will be enough. Guys, while we're waiting for the box to dry, it's a cup of tea and story time. Okay, in the last video, remember I was thinking about giving up candle making? Well, I did. By this time I was late 50s and I was getting very tired, so I decided to give it up. I was sharing my factory with a company that done carpet laying, and they were quite willing to take over the rest of the factory, which is good. So I was out of the lease, and all my machines and equipment, another candle maker I knew was just starting up. And I gave him a really good price on all my gear, and he accepted it, and he took it all. And I even introduced him to the chop fitting firm I was working for, and he basically took over from where I left off. So everything worked well. And all I did was just cut the phone off, and that was the happiest day of my life when I cut the phone off. Mate, it was all your stresses just left. But all the clients had my landline number at the factory, not my mobile. So just all my stresses just lifted off me. I felt like $1 million. So, but now I'm out of a job. The firm that I used to get my my plywood and chipboard off were looking for a storeman, and I applied for the job 3 days a week, and he was quite happy to take me on, because I knew the product. So it's a great job, really good. The best part about it, no noise. They don't cut plywood or MDF there, they just sell it. So it's a big pack of plywood and MDF come in and just sell it maybe by the pack or maybe by the sheet, but it's just no noise. And I thought, although 50 years of just having noise in the background, all the hoppers going, all the machines going from other people, it was just so good to have no noise. So I worked there for many years till I was 65. Now when I first started there, I thought I knew a lot about plywood and MDF, and mate, but there's just so many different types of plywood, MDF, veneer board. It just goes on and on and on. You got your CD plies, you got your BD ply, you got your marine grade, you got your paint grade. I was the guy behind the counter, so people from the street used to walk in and say, "Oh, do you sell marine ply?" And I say, "What are you making with it?" They say, "I'll make it a doghouse." I said, "Well, you don't need marine ply. You need construction grade ply." "Oh, okay." So I used to point them in the right direction, which they were all very helpful for. And because I've been in the trade for so many years, all the other cabinet makers and people used to come into the store to buy their goods too. So for me, it was like a cabinet makers reunion every day. I used to see all the people that I've met over the years, and sometimes I'd be too busy talking to do my job, and so I had to do my job. So, but it was great job, great firm to deal with. Yeah, I'll mention the firm. It's Melbourne Wood Panels in Thomastown in Victoria. Great firm, still going. Great firm to deal with, great firm. If you want any plywood or MDF, they're the place to go. So I worked there till I was 65, and then I fully retired. And in the meantime, I'd finished my house in Thornbury, and I'd sold that, and I got a really good price for that. And I went out in the suburbs a bit to buy a house with a big 2-car garage, and that's what I've got here. I've got a house with a 2-car garage, which I fitted out into my workshop. And I'll talk about the workshop in the next video. But that's how it come to be. And I'm so grateful to have this workshop and to be able to make these videos for you to see on YouTube. I'm having a ball doing it. But what's the point of having a workshop if you don't make anything in it? But I've got to make. I'm a maker, I make. Alright guys, we'll leave it at that. And in the next video I'll tell you all about my workshop, how I put it together. And I'll give you an outside view of the workshop too. And we'll leave it at that. See you in the next video. It's a new day, and I'm back in the shed. It's been a few days since I've been in the shed. I got called into work in my old job because of COVID. Everybody's short-staffed, so I've been working for a few days. I'll tell you something, it's not easy getting out of bed early. Damn, I'm not used to it anymore. Damn, I don't want to do it. Anyway, back in the shed. Yeah, box is good. It's all dry, of course, it's been a few days. Anyway, it's all good. Taking it off, taking the cape off now. Everything's good. We'll put a couple of splines in this first. We'll put two splines in this box just to dress it up and hold it together a bit more. Being a reddish timber, and also the myrtle being a reddish timber too, reddish brownish timber, I'm going to use a light coloured spline. Today I think I'll just use pine. And I'll cut the splines, put the splines in, and then we'll talk about the 5-piece lid that we're going to make. I cut the pine splines oversized and put it with the sander just to creep up on the groove. Okay guys, you saw me cut the pine on the saw and put it with the sander just to creep up on the joint. But you can do it straight as a saw too. You don't have to have a sander to do it. You can just take your time and do it straight as a saw. It's just that I've always done it this way. So anyway, just use the tools that you've got. You can do it other ways. Anyway, I'll cut the splines out and we'll glue them in, and then we'll work on the top. Okay. Cool. That's my new word there, cool. And I'm a child of the 60s, man. In my day, everything was cool, man, cool. Okay guys, while we're waiting for the splines to dry, we can start working on the 5-piece lid now. Remember, this is a 5-piece lid, but we're doing it without the banding. So it's going to be a mitered a modded frame with timber on the inside, and everything's going to be flush. And we want it to be a slimline lid. I don't want it too chunky, but there's a big box. I get about, only about 5/8 thick, I think, about 16mm thick. And that will give you enough room to get the angle, to get the very slim line on the front of the edge, which looks nice on a box this size. Okay, so we'll have to plane down the myrtle to about 16mm first, and also plane down the centre. I'll cut a slab of centre I'll cut a slab of centre for the centre. That's hard to say, especially with me. Centre for the centre, and I'll plane that down to 16mm too. Cut the sides to about 40mm thick. Of course, we're going to leave them over length, so we can cut the motors. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to plane everything down to 16mm and cut the sides of the myrtle down to 40mm. I've planed everything down to about 16mm, and I've cut the myrtle size to 40mm. So I've got 2 long ones and 2 short ones. And look how the centre come up. That's going to look so striking, isn't it? With the myrtle on the sides, that's going to look very. I'm not going to say the word, but it's going to look very, very well. And the colour of it, I don't know if you remember, all the old desks in the offices were very dark timber in the 60s and 70s. They were made of black bean. In my apprenticeship, I made hundreds of them. And this timber reminds me of that. Look at that. That's going to come up great. And I get this from the big box store, and it's cheap. I don't know. It's very striking, great for box making. You don't want all grain to be very straight grain and very dull. You want highlights in boxes. And when you can mix highlighted timber with a straight grain timber like myrtle, you get a magnificent looking product. Next step is a bit tricky, guys. We're gonna cut the centre of the lid down. The lid has to be spot on. We can't cut this other side, so we have to work out what the size of the centre is, the centre. The box is 380 by 260. Then we're going to add 10mm all round, which makes it 390 by 270. Then we're going to take off 80mm, which is 40mm each side. So now it's 310 by 190, and that's what we've got to cut the centre to. Okay guys, we've got the centre cut for the centre. It's going to look magnificent, isn't it? And we've got the myrtle cut for the surrounds. Okay, now we have to find a way of joining them all together. We're not going to join them with dominoes, and we're not going to join them with dowels. We're going to join them with a thing called a feather. Just a plywood feather out of 3-ply. The same material that we use on the backs. Now we're just going to cut these over size, 35mm shape. So we want 4 strips of 35mm. And the reason that we cut them over size, I'll tell you about that in a minute. but we'll do that first. And then after we do that, we've got to put a groove in the centre all the way around the centre bit, and then one long edge of the myrtle. So, and you want the groove to be not too tight, just a little bit loose, but you need somewhere for the glue to go. So that's what we're going to do now. Guys, we've cut the feathers about 40mm wide, and we've grooved the myrtle, and we've grooved the centre all the way around to hold them. Now you notice that when I was doing the grooving, I grooved against the fence, then I turned it over and done it again. If you do that every time, that keeps the groove dead centre. So if you work from one side, and you can mix them up, and then they're not centre anymore. So if you do both sides all the time, everything it's got to be centre. It's got to be dead centre. Okay, now all we got to do now is I made the grooves a bit loose, but we've got to glue the feathers into the myrtle now. So you need somewhere for the glue to go. So we're just going to glue these in there, and then we're going to let them dry, and then we're going to recut them again. I'm just going to use, I got some MDF glue here, that'll do. But the type 1-3, it doesn't seem to flow, it's very clunky. That's how I normally go to one side first, because you want it to stick on the side, you don't want it in the bottom. Turn them all around. Then do the other edge. And just stick them in, rub them back and forwards a bit. You see they're well oversized, which is good, it's fine. We're gonna recut them again. Okay guys, while we're waiting for the spines to dry and the feathers to dry in the myrtle, we're going to start working on the interior tray. The interior tray it's a tray by itself, but in the box, this box can be used as a jewelry box with a tray inside, or it can be used as a document box to hold the document. So it's a two-purpose box. So we're going to make a tray like this with one long area for necklaces, and three compartments on each side, and a bigger one in the centre. So we cut the jarrah now. We'll make it about 35mm high, and the size is going to be about 9mm. Guys, I've cut the tray in the configuration that I want, which is a long piece for the necklaces, a bigger piece for the bigger jewelry, and 6 small compartments for the small jewelry. Now you got to put this together in a certain way because these are all just loose at the moment. So you got to do the internals first, because otherwise you can't get in there with your nails or your staple guns or whatever you're going to use. Okay guys, another thing we have to do, we have to glue the material to the free ply for the bottom of the tray. I'm using a bit of white, embossed white. It's going to look really good against the jarrah. It's time to recut the myrtle edging to cut the rest of the feather off. We're going to leave 10mm on the feather. We're going to leave 10mm on the feather. So this is 40 and 10. So we're going to cut everything to 50mm. We'll cut the feathers down. By running them over the straw again, we make sure the feathers are dead straight now, and that they fit into nicely fit into the other groove, and the centre comes up flush. It's all cut, all ready to glue up. See how I laid it on the saw bench with it nice and flat. And as you see, I made them a little bit loose so they're easy to manipulate. Okay guys, time for the glue up. Okay, you see how I've laid them out where each of them go? Okay guys, if I was going to make larger doors for a cabinet or something, I wouldn't be making them like that. The timber expands and the joints would open up after a while. They're big. But just being a small jewelry box lid, there's no problem. The timber's so small, it's not going to expand very much at all. I've taken the top out of the crabs. Very striking centre, isn't it? The centre comes up great. And with the myrtle surrounds, it's going to pop when it gets polished. I've cut and sanded the splines in the box, and I've inserted the tray. So we're getting there now. Let's go to sand. Put the top through the sander now, and then we can do the the very fine edge on the saw, the very slight angle. And then hinge it, polish, sand, polish, and we're almost done. Okay guys, we're just about there. You saw how I used my my angle jig over there to cut the slight angle. It was only 10 degrees, so it's very shallow. But look at the lid. Very slimline. Come up great. Come up great. Now I put a finger grip in here, and I got the tray ready. So it was well done. I just sand, hinge, and polish now. Hey guys, we're finished. It's all polished up. Other than that lid just popped. The centre just pops with the myrtle and the kari. They come up almost the same colour. They started off brown and a little bit red. The myrtle was brown and pink, and the kari was red, but they're almost the same colour, which is fine. But look at the inside, guys. Look at the inside. Now that's the box. The lid stands up by itself. The a wide tray just really sets it off, and that can come out, and the whole box can be used as a document box. So it's a double purpose box. Great looking box. The fireplace lid come up. I'm not outside the word, am I? But I come up very, very adequately. There you go, I say very, very adequately. Alright guys, that's it for this box. Please subscribe and ring the bell. I'm only a new channel and I need all the subscribers I can get. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm having great fun making them. It's a great hobby for me to have, and I like passing on my tips to the viewers of this YouTube channel. It gives me great joy it does. And I get to use all these great timbers. The next box we'll be making, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. It'll be a surprise. Let's say that, it'll be a surprise. Okay, see you in the next video guys. Thanks for watching again.